Hello, this is Japanese Economic Review Channel. Today, we will analyze the Bank of Japan's June 2026 Corporate Services Price Index. We will decode the robust 3.2% year-over-year growth, the recent month-over-month deceleration, and the underlying structural divide between labor and capital inflation in the Japanese B2B sector. In June, the total average index hit 114.3, marking a 3.2% YoY increase. However, we saw a 0.4% MOM contraction. When we strip out the extreme volatility of international transport, the baseline domestic inflation stands at 2.8%. This reveals that while services inflation remains structurally robust above 3%, short-term momentum has undeniably cooled. What drives this 3.2% growth? Just 4 sectors account for over 90% of Japan's B2B services inflation. Various services added 1.03 points, led by temporary labor. Transport and postal contributed 0.86 points, heavily inflated by ocean freight. Leasing also saw massive 14.0% growth. Conversely, advertising was the sole deflationary drag. To understand the MOM deceleration from May's 3.4%, we must look at highly concentrated cooling. Advertising was a major drag, with TV and radio ads collapsing 5.6% YoY. Furthermore, accommodation services saw a severe normalization, dropping from 8.3% YoY in May to just 2.4% in June. This sudden drop in ad spend and hotel rates entirely explains the monthly dip. We must highlight the distortion gap of 0.4 points caused by global supply chain pressures. The International Transport Index surged 46.3% YoY. Specifically, ocean freight, excluding tankers, skyrocketed 52.8%, and international air freight jumped 48.0%. Stripping these volatile items out reveals a much calmer domestic inflation baseline of 2.8%. Looking at our macro sector diagnostic, we see clear divergence. Leasing and rental is accelerating rapidly, up 9.4% YoY driven by pure leasing. Transport and postal remains high at 5.3% but is cooling. Meanwhile, information and communications is flat at 2.6%, and advertising is officially contracting at minus 1.3% YoY. Businesses face an uneven cost landscape. Finally, let's examine the structural divide. High labor cost services show controlled moderate inflation at 2.7% YoY. In contrast, capital-intensive low labor cost services are running hotter at 3.7% YoY, driving macro inflation. Japanese service inflation today is not a runaway domestic wage price spiral. It is heavily influenced by global capital and transport costs. Thank you for watching the Japanese Economic Review. We look forward to having you with us again.